All right, we are live. Last time, on our All Monk adventure, the day of 10,000 fists, our story is rapidly careening towards a close. Our fearless monks have survived three excursions into the day of 10,000 fists, the once a decade extra dimensional tournament slash challenge that mysteriously draws them from all over the realm. But events have escalated, beginning with the untimely death of the Black Flame Prince number 7 in their very first day of 10,000 Fists. Events have come to a head. The White Flame Heavenly Demon, one of the most powerful figures in all of the realm, is seeking to somehow reach beyond this material plane and ascend to some plane beyond. At the end of the last day of 10,000 Fists, he confronted you all as you exited, rapidly killing two of you before you were rescued by an unnamed figure you all have been referring to as the Master, a figure who seems to be related to Snick's unusual history with the Master of Many Styles techniques. You have taken this last 10-year period to train, to prepare, to seek out powerful allies, weapons, and techniques. You have rebuilt the burned wreckage of the 10-year city and have reinvigorated it as a hardened fortress, the 100-year fortress, all in preparation of the next day of 10,000 Fists, when the White Flame Demon will return and attempt to punch through this reality into worlds beyond. But your 10 years is rapidly coming to a close. You have gathered unusual weapons. You have made allies from many different sects and organizations. You have built up traps and weapons and all manner of impediments, but you know that only so much of it has any hope of standing against the heavenly demon. So, intrepid monks, is there anything else you want to do before the day of 10,000 fists?
Oh, easy. We're gonna prepare a battle speech for everyone.
Uh, Clearly, we are going to now consolidate our allies and do all our last minute recruiting because it doesn't seem that close. It was 10 years out, but now it's like right around the corner. So now maybe we have a better chance of recruiting more people.
So far, you all have recruited members of several of your own clans to assist. Through shows connections, you've brought in some of the Iron Body Clan elders and mercenaries. They've also brought in some of the Iron Spider sect, an affiliate sect that specializes in traps and mechanisms. Some of the Razor Mind has answered the call of the Silence, including the entirety of the branch sect that he formed. The Halpid clan has offered some assistance, although they've only been able to offer some soldiers, basically, but have been far more helpful in things like supplies, essential to building the 100-year fortress. So you've laid out all kinds of traps. Who else do you want to bring in? What other preparations do you want to make?
I thought Ty tried to pull his connections with the Poison Way clan for helping them eradicate the demon cults.
I know you had gone to them to get help against the River King's bastard.
I mentioned that, and I also asked for assistance in um, with the 100-year fort. with the poison way, like having some poison on hand to help.
Oh yeah, yeah. You've built some of that into some of your defenses, which the Iron Spider clan was able to be quite helpful with.
And then I figured Todd would then use his Inquisition to also help bankroll materials.
Yep, y'all been able to build all kinds of wild devices, uh, high-speed ballista, razor wire launchers, fire traps, various layers of moats and walls and trenches. So
Oh,
what's
we're gonna need
left?
catapults.
You want to add some catapults? I think I just have a
Yeah,
category
except
for artillery.
yeah, and except they some of them can fire like jugs of like oil to light on fire and jugs of poison just to smash into the hordes of the demon cult that'll be coming towards us.
All right.
We get like air units, like guys who can like fly around.
That does include you all now.
Well,
um,
like Pegasus riders, Griffin riders, like those kind of fun, that kind of fun stuff, just to zip around and rain down terror.
so your best bet is actually probably folks who have like flying ships. That's going to be the primary form of air conveyance. Most things that
Yeah,
can fly are dangerous enough you don't want to sit on them.
so
Who
what
would
you're
you want to
saying is,
recruit for that? What kind of groups would you be thinking of?
so like it's like air nomads, like who like I can pay to come with their airships and just arm them to the teeth.
Let's see here. Who would be the most helpful?
Like we get like fire grenades, poison grenades, just javelins, arrows out their wazoo.
So
Buckets of darts so that like World War I, where they just go over the enemy and just dump buckets of darts that just tear through people.
the Imperial Army would be helpful. Um, I don't know who else I set up as sort of enchantment specialists. Well, actually,
Clearly,
that's a
I'm gonna
good
need to.
connection. So your spiritualist, were they one of the ones who survived? Yes. One of your old allies is part of a clan of spiritualist and formation masters who might be able to help equip with things like this.
Well, then I will. I'm gonna have to go talk to him.
All right. So, what's your approach here? Because I think the last time you saw them, I think that you did sort of defeat uh, the units that were involved, the Demon Way soldiers, but you did so by using even more Demon Way technique. So,
Uh, it's easy. All right, I show up. I tell him I know this is a huge ask, and I have coin to help pay for this, but we're gonna need your help in defeating more demon cults. This. All right. Now you may think I'm part of them, but I've started my own clan. I am the Inquisition because you can't just leave a bunch of ex demon cultists laying around. They're just going to do terrible things. Instead, I pick them up and they work for me and under the new flag, the Inquisition, where we have very strict rules and morals. Bandit comes and starts messing with the town, we go and we mess up the bandits. A monster comes to mess with the town, we mess up the monster. The towns are placed under our protection, but we do not like enforce our own power over the towns. We coexist with them. We trade with the people. We make connections. We want to try and be your corporated local home store that has everything. You want it, we probably can get it. That deal. So we're going to need your help because the main bulk of the demon cult army is going to be coming, and we need every bit of firepower to help fight them off.
So I'm going to call this a flat roll. Because on the one hand, it's...
Did I mention if we fail, the roll might be destroyed?
Yeah, I was going to say, so you're basically at disadvantage from the circumstances of your parting, but you are evening it out because the circumstances are sort of dire. So give me a... Is this 100% persuasion, or is this going to skew into deception?
Well, I didn't lie anything there, so it's persuasion then.
All right. Well, I mean, I think it's a little dodgy. Sometimes you talk about... sometimes you talk about the Inquisition as a scam, and then sometimes you talk about it as a legitimate attempt to change.
Oh, it is a very legitimate attempt to change, okay? Just right now we are building, and whatever words I can say to win over favors is kind of what I use. We can be dodgy in some ways, but look, Colby, I mean, I haven't been forcing my will on all my towns. I've just been protecting them, and then they kind of reciprocate and like me.
All right, then let's get a roll. And tell me what it is, because I don't have D&D Beyond open.
It's a 10.
You suck.
So I think here's what a 10 gets you. This person that you fought alongside, I think you have slowly earned back some of their trust. Simply because you all have been just like really actively tearing up the Demon Way. Like, you all have done more to dismantle them in the last 20 years than any of the more legitimate factions. However,
I've killed 4 princes.
However, the rest of her organization is not quite as on board. She has, in this span of time, she's about the same age as you all. So you all are what now? 50s?
40s?
Well, you've been through 3.
You said we were teenagers.
Yeah.
Nick is
First one.
42 and Snicked was only 12 whenever we started.
Okay. So yeah, you all are creeping up on 50. So she's probably like a mid-ranking elder. She's not in charge of things by any means. If this was a school, she'd be like the lowest ranked vice principal. Or perhaps like a specialist in charge of like, technology or the library or something. So she's able to throw a little bit of weight around, but even that and your wealth only is able to secure you a few of these ships when you know that they could easily provide you dozens.
You know what? A few ships might turn the tide of battle. I'll take everything I can get.
All right. So you've secured some of these ships and basically hooked them up with sort of useful, basically gravity-powered weaponry.
We could put ballistas on there, and we're gonna make fire rain from the skies.
So, what else do you all want to do?
Come in.
Ty's gonna hire the healers in the walls and instruct them that if they see the heavenly demon, keep a wide berth, like 50 feet, but remember to keep people healed and
Your water all down me.
Sasha.
Dad was hating when he found out that the cat's going in his room.
I think he's too upset.
It just makes more sense.
All right.
Yuba is obsessed with Olivia's room.
Yes, she
yeah. So I would love to hire some healers. That way, when we fight the heavenly demon, they might actually heal us and can solve the healer problem.
All right. All right, y'all. What else?
I don't know. I kind of want to learn more about these mess ups.
Learn more about what?
About Allison's mess ups.
Oh, I muted them.
Oh, I just been listening to him.
All right. Anything from anybody else?
I heard someone say earlier about having inspirational speeches prepared.
Yep. Does Snikt have an inspirational speech?
Depends on if you want serious or not.
We'll save that for our next phase. Are there any other preparations we want to make? All right. So, we're going to do this as kind of a narrative war game. This is the list I have of resources you all have put together. I'm putting it in the channel. Although I guess, Ty, were you bringing in any of your troops?
I'm nervous because I don't want the other remaining 3 demon princes to control them. Is my only problem.
All right. We'll sort of put them in reserve then.
Yeah, I kind of will have them off like to the side.
So,
Actually, split so that they can come in for a pincher maneuver. They're gonna be split half and half. One of the Colts being led by Aaron's kid. Forgot his name.
Straunt, something like that.
Yes.
I feel like they were named after, I think, strontium maybe, which burns a different color.
Oh, I don't remember his name.
Yeah, strontium burns red. Okay, so the way this will play out is basically you'll have a number of challenges to overcome to see if you manage to keep the majority of the Demon Way cultists away from the gate. Those are your resources. Each of you can take one each turn or go do something yourself. We're going to do a simple opposed roll. if you use something that feels particularly effective, you'll roll with advantage. Otherwise, we'll just do D20 roll offs. Sound good?
All right, let's do this.
All right, so we enter into these last few months before the Day of 10,000 Fists arrives for what might be the last time. You have gathered your forces, you've gathered your allies, you have fortified the 100-year fortress as best you can. At this point, you've largely evacuated any of the civilians, so that there's not really any sort of non-combatants to worry about. Although I will put the escape tunnels back on the list. And as you get into these last few months, the rumors start to pour in. The entire Demon Way is moving. For years now, they've been gathering into their strongholds in the north, the most fortified locations, the most hard to reach, the heart of their power, and they have been doing something. But now all of the intelligence gathering groups have sent out the word: the Demon Way is on the move. They are a massive horde. They leave fires in their wake that fill the sky with smoke. They are burning a swath towards right where you're standing. You've gathered your forces. You've trained them as best you can. Who wants to try and inspire their forces with a speech? And I'll say this, it doesn't matter if it's serious or funny, as long as it's what your character would actually do in this context.
I mean, I think I can give a pretty serious speech.
What
Do
are
I stand there?
What are your highlights?
My highlights? Well, I'm going to touch base on that. This is the fight of all fights, the fight of glory. That everyone here today has given the great sacrifice to the world, to their families, and to the future. That kids in the future do not know hardship. Oh, was it? There's the quote. That we hope for hardship to come now, so that our generations in the future may know peace. There's a quote I can remember. That's said by some dead guy. I guess.
I think Ty probably actually says that, said by some dead guy.
I have this speech planned. I was going to just make it up as I went. I gotta think of highlights of something I made up. I haven't made up yet.
All right. Anyone else want to offer some words?
Yes. I think for full effect, you have to remember that Snikt is exactly 2 feet and 5 inches tall and weighs a massive 28 pounds. So Snikt steps before the gathered troops. And I'm not going to do the high-pitched voice, but just recall that Snikt will have a very high-pitched voice. I have myself full confidence that if all do their duty, if nothing is neglected, we shall prove ourselves once again able to defend our home, to ride out the storm of war, and to outlive the menace of tyranny, if necessary for years, if necessary alone. We shall not flag or fail. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. We shall defend our land, whatever the cost may be.
Is that part of a Churchill speech?
Yes.
Definitely would have been better in the voice. Oh.
Okay, I guess I misunderstood. I thought you said highlights, not just give the speech. Great, I feel bamboozled.
Those are the highlights. The entire speech was probably 2 hours long.
Bamboozled again. Throwing a few more images in the Discord just for fun. All right. Well, I'm actually going to put us on pause for a second because Show had to step away. So this might be a good moment if you want to run to the restroom or grab a drink or something.
Don't worry, I've already grabbed my drink, because when I'm thirsty, my go-to drink is Michelob Ultra. A low-calorie beer. It's only 4.2% alcohol.
Is this a sponsored bit? Are we sponsored now and nobody told me?
We sold
I
out.
feel like Ty should put that at the end of his speech. Brought to you by.
Brought to you by Pabst Blue Ribbon.
It is a superior light beer. And no D&D session was complete without one, or two, or six. I have a problem.
I was about to say, none of us are we don't have a drunken master in the group, do we?
Ty's not joking.
I identify as a high-functioning one, okay?
High-functioning drunken master.
I actually do better with the beer than without the beer. It's what helps me sleep at night.
There you go.
Did they actually make that an official monk subclass, or is that not in 5e?
No, it is in 5e. It's just not great.
Oh.
It's like a
Not
weird
drunk
mix
enough.
of mostly defensive powers.
Sad day.
Yeah, it's one of the earliest ones, actually. I don't know.
I just want you to know, Colby has shot down several of my character ideas.
You mean like the cancer spreader?
Nope,
Yes.
nope, 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 nope.
What do you mean? I think you could say it on Twitch.
Anyway,
Are we still live?
yes. Full
Oh,
on.
I think you said pause. Like
we're pausing the action. We have not paused the stream.
Oh, okay, the stream is still going.
Yeah,
Well,
so
we've
that's
got
why I
to
just
keep the downtime interesting.
yeah. Or what about my other idea of a different form of blood bending?
Nope, 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 nope.
Yeah, I've heard other people have ideas for like water benders that learn how to.
Okay,
One of these days, I'm
I
going to pull out the old 3.5 Book of Exalted Deeds and do a solid Vow of Poverty monk.
Yeah, those got ridiculous. If you kept stacking all the vows, your character would be miserable, but you would you would wreck shop.
Yeah. Well, in Vow of Poverty, you get bonuses every single level up. And if you're a monk, you get no downside because you're not supposed to have anything expensive anyway. Last DM that I could have done that with had me play a Gestalt character, and I was like, can I do a Vow of Poverty Paladin monk?
Mega Sacred Fist.
Yes.
I did have a fun idea. I want to work on a charisma deception barbarian. And specifically like the actual player It's sort of like a warped version of the Echo Knight. So like the actual player is like a kind of Loki-esque figure. It sort of lurks in the shadow of like this big hulking quasi-real illusory companion. And a lot of abilities about like swapping places and like almost like sneak attacking. But it'd essentially be like a two-part barbarian.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm looking up Vow of Poverty again because it's been so long since I've seen it. Yeah, as you level up, you gain bonuses to armor class, ability scores, and saving throws, as well as bonuses on exalted feats.
Jeez.
First level, you get +4 armor. At level 3, it becomes +5, and every 3 character levels beyond that is an extra +1.
I feel like a lot of that leans on the fact that like wealth is wealth was very specifically useful in 3.5 and
Yeah.
translated to a ton of bonuses,
Mhm.
whereas in 5th edition it almost doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, this was supposed to, counterbalance the role playing of taking a vow of poverty. So you didn't get your +5 armor, but instead the vow gave you the equivalent.
Yeah.
Then you add monk on top of it. Because in 5e you pick an armor calculation, but in 3.5 it all stacked.
Yeah, as long as it wasn't the same kind of armor.
Mhm.
Yeah, it really sort of disincentivizes. It skews towards very specific builds, and a lot of features don't end up meshing. Like, if you're going to play a Tortle monk, you would definitely play a strength Tortle monk.
Right.
Whereas,
Because the shell will not overlap.
yeah. Yeah, it definitely makes certain things hard. Oh, hey, show's back.
Oh, yeah, I've been back for like 3 minutes or so.
We
Did my
didn't hear
text not
you.
go through?
I just now saw it.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you guys were waiting on me.
No
I
worries.
I texted it so that it wouldn't interrupt what was happening.
We were just talking about random stuff. All right. Well, back to it. So,
Do I need to roll persuasion for my Churchill speech?
oh yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
Ty and Snicked both roll persuasion.
With advantage, right? I rolled a pair of 3s.
Oh no!
I have advantage. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, I have advantage against humanoids that are CR 11 or lower.
Yeah, that's probably
Does that
fair.
count?
Yeah.
The audience is not picking up the Churchill.
Got 13.
Yeah, you do all right. What I'll say is everybody's first roll will have advantage. So, the battle arrives. You see it coming long before you can actually see any of the demon way soldiers. The sky gets dark. Smoke is piling up and choking the air. And you realize that the forest in the distance is rapidly being consumed. And sort of walking out, backlit with the flames, are row after row after row of Demon Way forces. You see thousands of the red masked, red flame foot soldiers. They're marching eerily in an eerily regimented way. And Ty, you definitely recognize this. This is someone exerting the black flame influence with incredible precision. Because you've seen the Demon Way fight, and without this level of control, the red flame cultists are prone to running wild. But they're in step like soldiers. It is eerily quiet, the way that they approach. Intermingled, you can see a handful of the blue flame commanders and the violet demons sort of watching over, and sort of in the center of the forces, clearly illuminated, you see 3 figures radiating purple-black fire. And you can feel the pressure as their power pushes off of them and fills the space. They take up positions just slightly past the range of most of your long-range weaponry. You know that there will be no parley. There will be no conversation. This is the Demon Way marching in force. Everything goes eerily silent. And then Ty, you feel it. A sort of coded pulse of energy. And all at once, the army is on the move. I'm going to have all of you roll for initiative. Just so we can get an order of how y'all are going. All right. So that's going to be Ty, Lilifear, Silence, Snicked, Show. We'll mark that down. So the first challenge emerges almost immediately. They seem intent on overwhelming you with sheer numbers. A large detachment of these red flame soldiers comes racing forward. Again, moving in sort of eerie coordination. There are flames starting to sort of dribble away from them. So Ty, you're up first. Which of your defenses are you interested in, or do you want to go do something yourself?
We are going. Did we put down marking lines for artillery? Like I mentioned.
Yeah.
Are they in range of artillery?
Yeah, you can definitely, and you can wait until they get that close for sure.
Then I'm going to wait, and we are going to unload. We're gonna unload some poison artillery onto these bad boys,
All right.
or just artillery, wherever artillery shells we got.
So we're going to call that, just do a flat D20 roll with advantage.
$18, baby.
Let's see how they do. Only a 15. So, what sort of delivery mechanism does this poison have? I know you said artillery, but what does it look like?
All right, so it's like in these giant round jugs. All right, they fly out, And the poison is there's like a liquid poison. There's also like a gas formed in the edges there, like or inside. Like so, you filled it up halfway with like just like straight up poison. That way, when it hits the targets in the immediate area are hit, but it's mostly filled with gas. So when it hits the ground and explodes into this giant puff cloud of poison. And like there's liquid poison to like kill off the ones just immediately in it, just for the shock and all, and then there leaves like a big cloud that lingers for a second. And as the demon wave run through it, they inhale the poison, it gets into the lungs, and then it does poison stuff in their lungs.
All right. So these huge volatile containers, the liquid inside is a special instrument of war developed by the Poison Way. It all begins as a liquid, but as it has time to sort of ferment in the jar, more and more of the liquid converts to gas, and it becomes more and more pressurized. As soon as it touches the slightest impact, the gaseous layer blasts outward. These clay shards of these jars become shrapnel. Soaked in this poison, it spreads out. The most immediate points of impact, they just melt. Fully melt. All of them. The liquid is horrifying. But the gas spreads, and where the liquid falls, it starts to steam. And as they breathe it, you see the soldiers. There's a disorienting moment as the poisonous gas gets caught up in the bodies of these red demon flame users, and their fire is tinged with a sickly green for a moment, and probably 30 or 40% of that charge goes down in that first wave of poisonous artillery. Lilifear, you're up next.
Okay.
So there is this charge of foot soldiers still rapidly approaching the walls. If you look in the general chat channel above the 4 Guardian pictures I sent, there's a list of all the different things you can do, or you can try and use your own powers.
I guess I'll have the. Are they in range of the ballista? Ballista?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have the ballista fire.
All right. So in that case, give me. In that case, go ahead and give me a d20 roll with advantage, because this is your first one.
Okay. D20. Computer's been really slow. Oh, I guess I would do another one.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't have a roll with advantage option. I guess I would just rolled 2d20.
Yeah. Nope, ignore that. And a 4. All right. Man, they are not doing as well as you all. So the ballista, you all have applied sort of the best of these sort of spiritual formation techniques. These ballista are drawing in subtle amounts of energy from the world around them. Elements of swiftness and wind and flight. And as each one launches, it's coated in this nearly invisible stream of air that sends it firing out with impossible speed. And you see it mow down another 30 or 40% of these soldiers. Even with the control of these Black Flame princes, they're at sort of the edge of their reach of their control, but also the panic is starting to cut through. All right, silence. What would you like to do?
Harry, you're muted.
He's been talking the whole time.
He's still talking right now.
The silence is the silence.
I can hear him talking.
Hear motion. All right, we'll come back to him. Snicked, what would you like to do? There's still probably over 100 of these red flame troops coming at you all.
Well, Snicked is not much of a leader, as observed with that speech that he gave. I am going to be hanging out at the razor wire and traps, and I have transitioned into what I am calling lion style. That's a combination tiger dragon, and using my enhanced speed and especially the fear that is generated by my roars to channel the oncoming enemy into those traps.
All right, it'll be a d20 roll with advantage.
Oh, come on! A 1 and a 2.
Oh no.
Oof. The problem here is not a lack of skill. You masterfully catch sort of the first grouping of red flame cultists that come to you, and you bait them right up to the edge of these sort of razor wire traps. As you step across, suddenly it's almost like Snake sort of dances through some sort of unseen pattern, and the soldiers come running behind and are immediately like sliced to ribbons as they pass through these sort of fine micro wires. You roar at another group, and they turn at the wrong moment and crash through thick strands that cut and tangle. But almost immediately, the control of these black flame princes snaps into place, and in a very orderly fashion, they stop, leave the ones who are injured, and cleanly step away and find a new angle of attack. But for the most part, this cavalry charge, or sorry, this infantry charge is coming apart. Show, what are you doing?
Hmm. Can, since I'm assuming I'm last, even among enemies, can I see sort of what sections are needing most help?
So far, you all are still doing fairly well. This first infantry charge has not been able to sort of fully crash its way up against your fortifications like they had hoped. So you've kind of got a moment of choice here. You can sort of finish off that group, or if you wanted to do something to sort of set yourself for the next challenge.
Yeah, if they've not really made it, are they within artillery range? Could I
Yes.
instruct a lot of people to shoot arrows at oncoming waves that haven't made it here yet?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, let's do that. Maybe weaken some of the incoming uh, waves.
All right. So roll d20 with advantage.
I got a 13.
I got a 4. They're pretty torn up. They've been hit with poison and with traps and with artillery. So this band of archers stepping up. These aren't just any archers. You all have brought in some of the Huntington School, a very specialized branch of archers who excel in sinking shots at ridiculous distances. And you can tell from where you're standing, they like perfectly. They're like putting arrows through the eye holes on the masks, and they're doing it from hundreds of feet away. This clears through the last of this first charge, and so show. I'm going to have you roll a d8.
I got a 7.
All right, and I'll actually have you go ahead and roll another d8.
I got a 5.
All right, 7 and 5. You all see. Actually, you hear, seemingly from nowhere, thunderous sound emerges, and coming at a different angle towards the 100-Year Fortress is a cavalry detachment, but it's not any kind of cavalry you've ever seen. This is sort of full martial arts shenanigans. Some of the warriors are almost more like surfing their horses. And you see others who are just like, with seemingly no effort, standing like on the side of their horse. And they are rapidly racing towards you all. What you also see is a couple of points of blue and red light flare, and several blue flame demon commanders with small detachments have rushed forward. So Ty, you're back at the top. What do you want to do? Are you muted?
No, I'm thinking.
All right.
How close is the cavalry to the castle?
So you heard them coming. They're moving pretty quick, though. So you could let them get closer, or you could try and catch them as soon as you realize they're moving forward.
I think how best to take out cavalry with what we got. I'm gonna wait for them to get into ballista range, and then rain down a hail of arrows onto them. Like get the ballista and archers, and we'll wait for both detachments to get into range of those boys of the cavalry, and then we'll rain down just an absolute. We'll darken the sky with the amount of arrows we loose onto this cavalry charge.
All right. So go ahead and give me. This is going to be a flat D20 roll. You all have burned your inspirational speech energy.
I got an 8.
They got a 14. It is alarming. these cavalry soldiers, it just doesn't slow them down. Um, the they're racing forward, and you see these like ballista bolts come flying, and the head of the cavalry charge stands up on his horse, pulls out a long, thin, straight sword, and it fills with purple energy, and he just whips it in an arc. And the majority of the ballista bolts and arrows just burn up as they meet this powerful energy in the air. Excuse me. Next up is Lilifear. So Lilifear, there are sort of separate detachments, not quite the elite of elites, but more powerful than standard infantry. There's a handful of those who are sort of approaching rapidly, and there's cavalry coming up the other side. Which of the
Okay.
defenses do you want to use?
I'm gonna try the airships.
All right. What do you want to deploy them on, or how do you want to use them?
Um, the cavalry, I guess. Yeah.
All right. And what's the mechanic? How do you want to? What are you wanting them to do to them?
Uh, shoot at them. I don't know what airships. Are they like? Do they drop bombs or do they have like things they shoot?
You're in this sort of weird martial arts fantasy world. You pretty much got whatever you want to do. They can have cannons, they could have bombs, they could have spiritual energy formations that capture lightning out of the air and blast it down. What sounds fun?
I do like the lightning idea. My initial thought was, what are those the airplanes that they strafe in? They have those super high powered Gatling gun type things.
Oh,
Like
A10s.
A10 Thunderbolts or something like that. Yeah,
Ah, well, that
Warhogs.
sounds
A10
perfect.
Warhog.
but you can do like kind of like a lightning theme to it.
Yeah. So I think that the ship that you, well, let's see how you roll, and then we'll see who you get.
Yes, right.
So I'll roll first just so you have a target number. Oh, you got to beat a 3, but you're not rolling with advantage.
Okay, so this is 1d20.
Yep. Yeah, I think you got it.
Okay.
You call out the ship, and at the head of it is Ty's one-time ally and friend, and she is holding this sort of fan, and it's hard to tell if it's an artifact or if it's just a way of signaling. But she's clearly using it to direct the ship down, and there's something that looks like a ballista on the sides, but it's got a complex mechanism on it that's actually feeding smaller bolts rapidly through this firing chamber. And carved all along the side are these crackling blue runes. You can actually see similar runes are carved onto the masts of these ships as they fly through the air, and lightning crackles, almost like it's pulling it out of the air, and occasionally a bolt just falls out of the clear blue sky and hits one of the masts, sending a surge of power through the whole ship. And these electrified bolts just pelt across this cavalry unit, and you see them really get injured for the first time. Some of them try to strike them out of the air, but when their weapons hit the bolts, the electricity discharges, and they're stunned for a moment, allowing 6, 7, 8 more bolts to just leaving them full of these piercing bolts and crackling lightning. Probably half of the cavalry charge goes down. All right, next is the silence.
Can you hear me now?
There you are. So there's a half alive cavalry charge, and there are sort of elite blue flame led infantry units sort of charging towards the wall. Which one do you want to deal with, and what do you want to try?
So we're gonna deal with the infantry real quick. Alright, and we're gonna use ballistas.
All right. Any special commands or anything you want them to do?
So how many ballistas would you say we have?
I mean, a substantial amount. There's no hard number on it, but there's sort of weapon emplacements all down the walls.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna yell out the command to take aim and get ready to fire on my command. With the sound like doing its job and just reverberating across the entire battlefield because he's loud and obnoxious.
All right, we'll call this then. With your sort of telepathic abilities and what the sound can also offer, I'm going to give you an edge here for sort of being able to coordinate. So you're going to roll with advantage, and you got to beat a 7. Man, they are rolling badly.
What do you want me to roll?
Just roll 2 d20s.
Gotcha. Said 2.
Yep. Nice. It works perfectly. Because you're able to coordinate across sort of multiple sections of the wall, it's less like being attacked by artillery and more like a fast flying spiked wall that just suddenly flies towards the cavalry charge. That pretty much kills their momentum and most of their troops. All right, Snicked, these blue flame elites with small detachments of red flame infantry are racing towards the walls. What do you want to do?
So the cavalry's been effectively neutered.
Yes.
All right. Then I'm going to try again to drive them into the razor wire traps. I feel like my lion style just needed a little fine tuning, and now it's going to be fine.
All right. Go ahead and give me. Well, I'll give you a number to roll against here. Really? You've got to be the 1.
Well, considering how I've been rolling. Got a 17.
You decimate them. The traps work exactly as intended. And part of what makes the traps so scary here is, to the undiscerning eye, all the different wire looks the same. It's just these long, super thin, straight wires that are barely visible. But once you're in it, you realize there's like 10 different kinds of wire at play. There's kinds that look delicate, but are incredibly tough and almost impossible to budge. There's some that if you even gently touch them, they snap loose and kind of like a bass string flying off. Almost like giant razor bolas. They wrap people up and cut them at the same time. Others can't be seen at all. People walk through and then don't even know that they're dead. This tears apart several of these groups before they even are able to really bring much of their resources to bear. Show, you are up. Uh, so there's about half of these blue flame soldier groups are left. What do you want
And
to do?
how close are they to our fortress?
They're pretty much on you at this point. A lot of this razor wire is sort of there's layers of it, but they're sort of extra, fairly close to the wall. So what do you want to do?
How are these? Are they trying to like climb the walls? Like, do they have ladders? Or are they trying to break down our gates? Or
These are monks, baby. They are like step of the wind jumping, and just sort of acrobatically bouncing up towards the walls.
okay, the poison we have, is it like cloud poison or is it like poison tipped weapons or what
They've
kind of
given you
poison?
like the deluxe assortment. Whatever kind of poison you want it to be, that's what you got.
Well, whatever side seems to be having the most people who try to come up it, I want to like create a little cloud of poison, a fog cloud of poison that they have to go through.
So I think what your sort of poison way commander offers you here, they're smaller. They almost look more like potion jars, like large potion bottles. And when you uncork them, harmless smoke emerges. And you're able to sort of uncork them and drop them over the side. But as the harmless smoke from the different kinds of vials mixes, you watch as it turns this sort of sulfur yellow. And some of the troops that made it past Snicked and the razor wire, excuse me, they're starting to leap up and climb the walls. And this cloud of gas, it's almost like a misty hand rising up and just sort of swirling around them. And you see some of them almost get to the top, and then they start to gag and choke and fall. The blue flame groups are wiped out. Now I need Ty, Lilifear, and the Silence. Each of you roll a d8 for me.
Yeah, an 8.
Got a 5.
5, 5, and 8. All right. So, seeing the poison on the wall, one of the Black Flame princes takes to the field. And I say prince, this is actually a woman. And she sort of stalks out. And it looks like she's walking sort of slowly and methodically. But then you realize she is covering ground at an astounding rate. She just sort of flickers and gets within not even that close, like maybe 200 yards out from that poison, and uncorks like a huge gourd hanging off of her belt, and immediately all of the poison like swirls and feeds into this gourd, clearing the way for two huge cavalry detachments to come racing across the field. So we are back to the top. Ty, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm not happy that she messed with my poison here. So we'll change things up. We'll use the artillery, except instead of having the poison, it's great balls of fire. So it's like they're filled with like oil, and then instead it has like claws of flame wrapped around it. So when it goes and hits, oil just splashes everywhere, and as it's splashing, the cloth catches on fire and just erupts into massive fireballs.
All
Actually, you know
right,
what? It's
strange.
napalm because it's really good at sticking to things.
So the poison way does have a sort of alchemical fire that they have loaded up for you all. Um, how?
And we're actually going to focus fire. We're going to wait the cavalry to get in the closer ranges where it's where the shot projectiles have a will travel faster and so that they have less reaction time.
All right. I'm going to call this one with an advantage. Are you kidding? What is happening? This is the cavalry.
I got 17. Why did I roll like that? I probably hit the wrong button. It's a 17.
All right. Well, I rolled a 1, so there was no way that wasn't going to go in your favor.
Well, I could have rolled better ones. I don't know why.
I think with a nat 1 versus a 17, one of these cavalry detachments draws fairly close to the wall, and they're just totally unprepared. This alchemical fire splatters and catches, and as much as it harms the actual cavalry, the riders, the horses are instantly terrified. Many of them are injured, but many of them also just break and run. All right. Lilifear, what do you want to do?
Okay. At first, I thought it said meats and goats, and I was like, meats and goats. What would that be? It's moats and gates.
Yep.
Um, who do we have bearing down on us right now?
There is one cavalry unit left, but also one of the Black Flame princes, the poison wielder, is coming forward.
I'll try out the fire weapons.
All right, and sort of what does that look like?
Uh, it's a good question. I don't know. My first thought was like kind of like guns that shoot fire, or yeah, maybe some of them kind of have a flamethrower effect. But yeah,
So this
I
is
guess
probably still in that sort of alchemical fire territory.
yes.
You all are able to sort of uh, fling globs of this material out. So let's go ahead and see what horrible number you have to roll against. It had to happen eventually. So give me a d20 roll. Man, so they're starting to catch on to the fire. It's not quite as effective as it was last time. The cavalry sort of sees it coming and starts to swerve out of the way. But you still catch an incredible number of them. It's hard to avoid this sort of spray of fire out over this group. So they are badly hurt, but not taken off the field. Silence. What do you want to do? There is one badly injured cavalry group and one of the Black Flames coming.
All right. So on the side the Black Flame is coming, I use my telepathic connected to talk to people.
Uh huh.
And what do you say he's in ballista range, right?
The Black Flame user.
Yes.
Yeah, she probably is.
All right. So I try my best to coordinate with all the people on that side to take aim at her and fire. You can only block so much, and they can only miss so much. And then I direct everyone else to shoot at people.
Well, let's see how this goes. I'm going to give you your target number here. An 11.
Is this, you said 2d20s?
We're just going to call this a flat d20. This is a pretty exceptional target.
Right.
All right. So your thought process of she can only block so much is only kind of true. She pulls a vial from her belt and chugs it as these ballista come at her. And you see like orange light. It's almost like it's running through her veins. And she takes in a deep breath, and this black tinged orange burning mist pours out. And it's a cloud the size of a large building. And as the ballista bolts hit it, 95% of them disintegrate. A handful still hit her, which is substantial even for someone of her level. She is hurt, but not enough to drive her away.
Gotcha. And then do the surrounding people like help with the hoarding as well?
Say that again.
The other walls, do they help with the hoarding any?
The other walls.
I mean, she's come from one side, right? Or we're just only going to focus on that one sided.
I think that we're just kind of narrowing it down of like each of you can only sort of command one thing at a time.
Fair enough.
Other stuff is happening. This is just what you're controlling. All right. Snicked, you have a somewhat injured Black Flame user. And I think we said there was still like half of a cavalry unit. Did I make
All
that
right,
up?
I am going to try and make that cavalry unit a bit easier to hit, transitioning to what I'm calling cheetah style, Phoenix plus Tiger. And I'm going to run out and try to knock down and hamstring as many horses as possible.
All right. Many horses were harmed in the filming of this awful war.
Many animals were harmed in the making of this film.
So let's go ahead and give you a number here. I'm gonna give you an edge on this one. So that's gonna be 2d20s.
Each one was an 8.
Oof. So I think what gets you here is you've not gotten to see these horses up close yet. And as you get close enough to attack, you attack quite a few of them, but this is a whole cavalry unit. You're picking off like a few sort of each round, but there's 50 of them. What should have helped you is panic. This should have sent the horses into a frenzy. But what you see is the horses have that same sort of dull-eyed obedience that the Red Flame units do. The fire earlier was enough to scare them sort of out of control, but with this Black Flame user this close, they are just unshakable. These horses go down and they're still trying to like bite you and kick at you, even as they just helplessly fall. All right, show. There is an injured Black Flame user and a somewhat injured cavalry unit coming at you.
Black Flame user, are they still in the field, or have they made it into our fortress?
I would say they're like walking towards your gate.
Gotcha. Um, hmm. I think yeah, I think we're gonna try and finish off the cavalry unit. Some more artillery fire.
All right. Let's give you a target number. So you got to beat an 18.
That's a high number.
It is. I've rolled a lot of ones so far, though.
I got a 10.
All right. So I think that this Black Flame user has sort of clamped down on this group, and they're attacking with much more precision than you would expect. And essentially, they start shielding each other. Some of them like get in the way and take like multiple ballista bolts before they go down, sort of shielding all of the others. Now here's where it gets fun. I need Ty, Lilifear, Silence, and Snicked to all roll a d8.
I got a 5.
3.
And what'd Lilifear get?
I'm gonna have to roll on
Oh, there.
roll 20.
It came through. So 3, 3, 4, 5. Oof. All right. Let me go back and grab our running tally here. Man, the chat box is very small. You all suddenly realize that a large number of infiltrators are somehow within the walls. Folks who have disguised themselves, maybe folks who have been working with you all for months or years. Some of them suddenly go wild and start sabotaging and attacking your own troops. And at the same time, the first explosion goes off at the foot of one of your walls, and another cavalry unit appears. So we're back to the top. Ty, what do you want to do?
All right. Well, Ty is going to go on a rampage inside his walls. Every person who is an infiltrator is going to understand why Ty does not mess with infiltrators too well. We're going to throw him off the wall into the spikes below. We're going to make an example of them. You gotta be kidding me.
It is all feast or famine over here.
I'm going to be throwing them off the wall. I am going to be annihilating all the infiltrators.
So
I is very angry about this turn of events. He thought he had companions behind his walls, but truly he had enemies dressed in sheepskin.
So I'm going to give you advantage here because these infiltrators are Demon Way. So you are better equipped to pick them out because of that. So roll 2d20.
I got 19.
Dang. You pluck survival from the hands of defeat. You don't sort of take them all out instantly, but it's like you catch like half heard snippets of conversation, and you realize that someone is using the black flame technique to touch minds within the walls. But it's not the group that you brought. It's not your own people. It's people who came as part of the Iron Body clan and the Razor Mind and the Iron Spider clan and the Poison Way and all of these groups. Even one of the healers goes ballistic and starts like cutting people with a scalpel. But you catch it just a moment before everyone else, and you at least stop immediate catastrophe. All right. Lilifear, you're up.
Okay. Um, can the healers do anything to help out with the infiltrators making people crazy?
What would you want them to do?
I don't know, like
Reverse heal them.
like calm people's minds or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, like if there's any kind of
So I'll give you a suggestion. There is 100% a group that can do that, but it's probably not the healers.
okay. Oh, the Razor Mind. Yep, yeah.
Yeah.
I see Razor Mind. I think like cutting people, but yeah, they do other things too. Yes.
So let's see what you're going to roll against. 16. Roll with advantage because this is exactly what they're good at. Oof. So they're starting to make progress. Now that they've been sort of forewarned, they're able to identify a few more sort of sleeper agents who have not yet been activated. But it's just too hard. The sort of radio signal of the black flame technique is overpowering with 3 princes in the field and one of them right outside the gates. All right. Silence, what would you like to do?
Alright, so it's quite easy. We just gotta take out the Black Flame Princes that are close to us. So we're gonna go for round 2 against her, but...
All
so
right.
ballistas I can see, like, mist, like, being able to destroy, but...
So, just to give you an idea of where she's at, she's like at your gates now. She's been largely unimpeded and has made it all the way to the gates.
Gotcha. So she's at the gates. Like, is she surrounded by people, or have we kind of like done a good job decimating?
She didn't have anyone with her to begin with. She's just like
So she's
fully walking by
so
herself.
she's all right. So I do what any good person does. All right, and I give a battle cry. I have a few of the stronger people around me come join me. We're going to meet her at the gate and face her head on.
All right. I think we're just going to call this a flat roll to roll here because you're just going out to go after her, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to gather as many or like a few people around me, and we're gonna go meet her.
All right. She got a 10.
All right, please be good. Please be good, D&D. Oh,
Man, y'all have rolled one under 3 rolls in a row. That's weird. Yeah, she fights you all to a standstill. And she's had enough time now. She drinks another poison, another sort of vial, and this time, like green corrosive mist billows out, and where it blows against this outer gate, the gate starts to corrode and rot.
alrighty then. We'll get her next time, or if someone wants to come give me backup.
I'm on it.
All right. Oops, I keep clicking random things. Yeah, you're up next, Snicked.
Yep. Like I said, I'm on it. Coming in to provide the sounds with backup. Transitioning to what I am calling the Tarask style, turtle plus dragon.
All right.
The idea being to scare people away from the Black Flame user and lock the Black Flame user down.
All right. Let's see how she's doing. It's an 8 now. Come on, you can do it.
19!
All right. I think at this point she's kind of underestimating you all.
Then a 2.5-foot tall kobold comes up.
Yeah, I think that she has just burned a hole through the outer gate and is stepping through, and there you are in her way. And she just is completely caught off guard. She's just like, what is this? So what does it look like as you attack her? I know you said Tarask style, so what does that look like?
Yes. So those phantom images that you're talking about, sort of a dragon with a turtle shell on its back as I let out a roar that completely throws her off guard. Then I punch her in the face and put her in a full Nelson.
Yeah, she is pinned down at this gate now. She is not sure what's going on. All right. Show, you're up. There's still a lot of stuff happening. There are still 2 groups of infiltrators, a now very injured Black Flame user, an injured cavalry unit, a group of sappers somewhere, and another cavalry unit.
The what are the sappers doing?
They blowing up them walls.
Yeah, I want to find those people and make that not happen. Um, maybe send out, or I say send out, send with the Lilithir getting the Razor Minds to help with the calm everybody. Is there a group of people I could maybe send to look through the fortress trying to find these people?
Sappers or infiltrators? Which one do you want to go after?
The sappers.
Okay, so the sappers are outside, and now that you know to look for them, they're not that hard to find.
When you said somewhere, I thought you meant like they were hidden, like they had gotten into the fort and were going to.
Not yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, I want to find those people and target them with. Um, you know what? If they're trying to blow up the walls, can I target them with fire weapons to try to get them to blow themselves up before they get to the walls?
Yeah.
I want to do that.
All right, so now that you know they're coming, uh, we'll say this is a very effective way to go after them. So roll with advantage, and you're rolling to beat a 7.
We got a 7 total.
Really?
Yeah, I rolled a 3 and a 4.
Oof. Yeah. Um, so I think this is sort of a mixed success. You managed to harm a good chunk of the sappers, but the problem you run into is that you harm them by blowing up a lot of their explosives. Some of it still manages to sort of damage parts of the walls, but you do sort of take them off the board.
I'll take it.
So things are starting to get out of control. You've got multiple cavalry units still in the field. Snikt has sort of temporarily locked down this Black Flame general, but she is not quite out of the game yet. And the infiltrators are just wreaking havoc. Healers are getting attacked. Defensive elements are getting sabotaged. It's starting to get kind of bad. Ty, you're up first.
I'm gonna go back to doing what I did before. I'm going to take on these infiltrators.
All right.
I'm going to use my power ways of the demon way, and I'm going to find every infiltrator,
All
and
right.
I'm going to butcher them.
So that'll be with advantage. Let's see what you're rolling against.
10.
10. It's doable.
4. Come on. 6. You gotta be kidding me.
Things are starting to go off the rails. Where you all are, you can bring a lot of power to bear to fix a situation. But the problem is that you can't be everywhere at once. It's not just one infiltrator, it's dozens. You don't know how long this has been going on, that they were able to secret all of them into your operation like this. The cavalry is drawing close. Some of your defenses have now been sabotaged. It's starting to look kind of bad, y'all. Lilifir, you're up. Lilifir.
Uh, thinking. So we still have people kind of like right on top of us.
Uh, yeah, definitely.
Um, I might try the moats and goats gates or goats. Do we have goats?
There
Certainly.
probably were goats at some point.
Nick ate them all.
I just launch goats at them. Yeah, I'll try the moats and gates option because it
All right.
sounds interesting.
So what do you want to do with them? So the outer gate has been breached. There's
Yes.
still an inner gate. And who do you want to sort of who are you opposing with this?
Um, the the sapper people maybe. I was kind of thinking, or like, because I think with them more the moats thing, like keeping them from getting to the wall. But yeah,
Yeah. So
I don't know.
so I think the way that this plays out for you is the sappers have some unusual techniques that they've been using. There's some water walking, there is some water manipulation, some earth manipulation that has sort of created safe spaces for them to move across. What they don't know is that you all have a massive circuit of a spiritual formation embedded in the walls. When you go up and run your energy through it, what does it do? I'll let you decide. It does something wild to them, or
I would
attempts
say,
to.
yeah, it would turn the water in the moat itself into like a weapon almost.
All right, give me a D20 roll. And let's see how well it works.
Okay. Oh, no.
What? I did the math. This is not supposed to be that hard.
Oh man.
Um,
Hit myself in the face with water.
oof. I mean, I think this is as simple as um, you're trying to take care of this, but you're also being attacked by infiltrators,
This is true.
and parts of this circuit have been damaged, and so it just does not fire the way that it should.
Mm, unfortunate.
All right, the silence. What do you want to do?
What I started, I'm finishing off the the black demon cult at the gates.
Face him down, this lady.
All right. Anything special about your approach?
Oh, there's like 8 of us coming at her. Snake's holding her down, so we're going straight for the head and just. There's gonna be like 18 knives stabbing into her at like one time.
All right.
Extreme force is taken.
She only got a
All I gotta do,
four, so give me a D20 roll, and you can probably do this.
Snake's holding her down, right? So that should be
Yes.
with advantage.
I mean, he momentarily slowed her down. If it depending on how you roll, we'll see how that played out.
I got an 8.
All right, an 8 is enough. Um, so Snicked has been sort of grappling, and she's been sort of pushing back and forth, trying to break free as this sort of turtle silhouette with these bizarrely violent grappling arms has a hold of her. How do you attack her?
Well, I come up with my crystal dagger and I just come straight down on her because Snake's got her stabbed and just come straight down towards like a vital part.
So your blade sort of rakes across her, drawing blood, and she makes it doesn't hurt. It doesn't sound like it hurts as much as you would want in this context. It's almost more of a frustration than like real pain. She spits out a curse, and the blood that you just sprayed starts to turn to a poisonous gas. And you watch the whole line of blood down her back turning to gas. Then her flesh starts to turn to gas, and she just sort of dissipates, abandoning the wall and leaving you all standing in the gate. You have pushed back her attack. All right. Snicked, what do you want to do?
I thought for a second when you said her blood turned to gas that she was like bleeding poison gas.
That'd be great.
I mean, she was.
Oh,
She turned her blood into poison gas.
Right. So she has retreated. She's not dead.
She's not dead.
But she apparated away, or whatever you're gonna call it.
Well, there goes my plan then. I was going to throw her body at the sappers. So at this point, we still have sappers. Has her retreat affected the infiltrators?
The control is a little bit weaker just across the board. They're a little bit less coordinated with her, not just sort of pushed back, but also sort of briefly incapacitated.
And I think I'm going to go for the sappers. The question is how. And I think I'm just going to keep doing what works for me, which is jumping in and punching things.
All right.
I'll switch back to the cheetah style for maximum mobility.
All right. They got a 15.
Oh, that does not bode well. I got a 9.
Oof. I think
Slip
at this
on
point,
some blood and fall in the moat.
I mean, I think you all are. I mean, you all are martial masters. When you put your mind to it, you tear through these units. But the situation's getting away from you. There's more of them than you would like, spread out more, and they're attacking sort of critical infrastructure at an alarming rate. So you're a whirlwind of claws and blood and speed, and it is not enough to stop as multiple explosions go off. There's now breaches all along the outer wall. Show, you're up.
Said there's breaches. Are our troops, or what, I don't know what else to call them besides troops, volunteers? Are they, for the most part, still capable of meeting in combat, or are they still kind of going crazy?
Which group are you talking about?
Any of our troops, Iron Body troops, or anything like that?
So the infiltrators have sort of separated themselves at this point. Those groups are ready to fight. If you, I mean, they're already fighting, but you can give them sort of specific commands.
Okay. With the iron, I want to command the Iron Body troops, and I specifically want them to go to the places that have been breached, and just sort of try to fill it, not let anyone else in. They don't need to. They don't need to necessarily go out and attack. Just lock down any entrances that have been made.
So, like, you want them to go there and form a perfect phalanx formation with their pikes out front, so that they have to go, so that the advancing Demon Colt have to go through a porcupine pretty much before they get to your troops.
Sure. But mostly just so that other troops and other people can do the fighting. I just want them to create a defensive line that people won't be able to get through. They should be good at that as Iron Body disciples.
Yeah. So roll with advantage. You're beating a 12.
I rolled a 14.
The Iron Body holds the line. They manage to sort of push back the troops that are starting to pour towards these openings. And it's not a long-term solution, but you prevent immediate collapse. So the battlefield has gotten sort of wildly out of control at this point. There are now all manner of troops sort of besieging the walls in various places. Fighting is happening mostly still outside the outer wall, but a few troops are starting to make it onto the top. And you can also see that just more and more of the army is drawing closer. And it's right about then that all of you feel that sort of fiery pulse as the portal for the Day of 10,000 Fists flares to life behind you. And you feel its pull, even in the midst of this horrible battle. And there is a sound that you, the players, would recognize as something like a gunshot. Something blasts through the air with incredible speed. And you see that there is something blindingly bright flying towards the fortress. And you catch for just a moment the trail that's leaving behind. There's a furrow of dirt as the pressure of it carves into the soil. But the dirt is rapidly superheated into glass. So there's this glassy furrow all the way behind it as the heavenly demon smashes through both walls and crashes into the portal. And there's a feeling of immediate disorientation. It kind of feels like vertigo. You feel everything is sort of swimming around you. You feel like you're going to throw up. Even Sho, which is wild, because you don't even know what throwing up feels like. But you still feel like you're going to throw up. And you can see where the heavenly demon hit the portal. The portal is sort of this large, it opens into this sort of cascading space beyond. But now it's almost like there are white cracks. Like someone has smashed into a pane of glass. And you see the cracks sort of reaching the edge of the portal's confines and then pressing out. And you watch as reality around you is starting to fracture apart. A huge number of Demon Way soldiers immediately lose their lives. In the wake of this blinding ball of fire, 3 lesser comets of black flame crash behind, and suddenly all of the troops are disoriented and slow and chaotic. Your troops have the presence of mind to step back as these cracks in reality stretch through 3-dimensional space. But you see it touch one of the red flame soldiers, And it's like they just suddenly fold in on themselves and disappear. And the cracks are spreading and spreading. And you feel there's a pain wherever you have your mark for the Day of 10,000 Fists. It feels like something is burning. And you realize that these cracks in reality, you suddenly realize they're converging around you. And despite your best martial maneuvering, these white cracks in time and space just gently intrude into your person, and you feel yourself folding and distorted, and you disappear. And that's where we'll pick up next week.
The end.
That was how it ended.
And that next
Then
week we
everyone died.
So we will pick up next time with The Ascent Part 2 as you all enter into the last day of 10,000 Fists, and perhaps the last day ever.
the last
Not
day.
ominous at all.
Nope.
No pressure.
So I'm going to
Right.
cut off our stream. Bye, Internet. Come back next week for our thrilling conclusion to The Day of 10,000 Fists.